It's just different.
What's going on? This is the House of Boom podcast. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. Nah, let me run that back. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. Yeah, you gotta let that rock. Today. Let's start over from the beginning. How about that? What's going on? This is the House of Boom podcast. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. I'm going to run that back, Eric Boom Salvery. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Clean Everything LLC. He is one of the great sponsors of this podcast. And then I'm going to start off with a question for the audience. You know, growing up, you know, I'm a geek. As you can see, I got the Mandalorian helmet in the background. You know, there's a Gundam action figure somewhere over there when I move my head. And I love comic books, all that in between. But I also love MonsterVerse movies. So growing up, like King Kong and all that stuff. And one of my favorite old-time classics is King Kong versus Godzilla. And Godzilla, he is the king of monsters. So today, I have ScoobZilla in the building. What's going on, bro?
What's good, King? What's going on?
What's going on? So Godzilla is the king of monsters, right? So does that make you the king of NFL trainers? What's going on? Like, you know, getting dudes right in the off season, getting them right for the draft. Is that who you are?
Something like it, you know what I mean? Pretty much been doing this 17 years. So
17 years.
Say,
wow.
I'm the GOAT at it. So they say.
So they say. What got you into being this particular part of training?
So when I first got into it, was kind of accident. I was really I was with one of my a guy that was going to my school. A running back was coming out named Emmanuel Mark, and he was getting trained by his trainer, and I just happened to show up, you know, to the field that day, and the agent was there, the trainer was there, and it was, you know, he was struggling. His numbers was stinking it up. They asked me, you know, well, why don't you go get some reps while we keep talking to him? And I was just killing his numbers. And they was like, yo, why do you plan like this? Why you do this? Why you do that? And I just was breaking it down to him. And then the agent was like, so you think you can show him this? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yo, you're fired. I'll pay you $800.
Give me that.
And ever since then, once I got him right, you know, from then on, like people always ask me, yo, you can help me with my pro day, teach me how to run the 40, teach me how to do the shuttle, help me with my bench press. So I've been running with it since 2006, about 2006.
That's what's up. What's your background in football?
Played football in high school. I played receiver and safety, some corner in high school. Then I went to college, played receiver. I came out as a safety corner. So I played professionally. I played at safety linebacker.
What school did you go to?
Delaware State.
Okay. The Blue Hens.
Nah.
No. I'm sorry. So disrespectful to the HBCUs.
Don't do me like that. Yeah, don't do me like that. We don't rock with them like that, you know.
Yo, I'm sorry. The Delaware State Hornets. I'm sorry for any HBCU member who is watching this podcast right now. I'm so disrespectful, and I apologize. Give me 20 jumping jacks or something, 20 push-ups or something.
You got to make it right, yo. HBCUs, we on top now. You know what I mean? Yeah. The other Delaware Division I school.
Okay. Talk about that. You know, HBCU is a buzzword right now. Talk about your experience then, and then what do you like about what's going on now, or do you like what's going on now with HBCUs?
So my experience there was, I ain't gonna front. It was a wild world out there. You know what I mean? It was like going to a party school. Just be honest. And all we did was party and fight. When I first got there, we couldn't win no games, so we just partied and fight. But it was dope. It was dope for me. It's like a culture shock, you know, being from a city and then seeing dudes from just how they talk, how they dress, you know what I mean? How they, like, just how they was brought up, hearing how different worlds, you know what I mean? You know, you might travel through New Jersey, Philadelphia, but you ain't never know, you know what I mean? I ain't never really know nobody from there.
Mm-hmm.
So you start seeing the culture shock of just how, how they might grew up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was just a little different, but the women was amazing. You know what I mean? You just see a bunch of beautiful black women everywhere. Yeah, that was different. You know what I mean? But HBCU was dope. At the end of the day, looking back at it now, I'm glad I got a chance to experience that because now everybody's chasing that opportunity. Like it might have been a missed opportunity. Like you might want to go to Princeton and Yale. Like that was the big thing. Or you want to go to Rutgers. You know what I mean? But nobody was sitting back like, let me go to Morgan State, Delaware State. Like Howard was exceptional. You know what I mean? But that's because Biggie Smalls and P. Diddy, you know.
Right.
But outside of that, nobody was saying, hey, I want to go to HBCU. So I think it's dope to put us on the map that you got guys giving us the exposure because when you're saying athletically, I always try to tell guys now, it's like there's no difference. Like except for, funding, but like skill player wise, there's no real difference. Like you'll see a 6-foot corner, you'll see a 6'2" corner. You know what I mean? You'll see a 6'4" wide receiver. Now, your lineman, your O lineman, D lineman, you're going, we be about 6 foot. Those guys at the bigger schools they'd be a lot bigger, stronger. But outside of that, you know what I mean? The culture and everything there was it was dope.
So you would agree along the lines of what like Deion Sanders has been talking about over the last couple of years in regards to the players on the field. Because I think he echoed those sentiments when he talked about there's really no difference. He saw a lot of guys when he was coaching there that he's like, no, that guy could be in the league. That guy can be in the league. And then he would say that the only difference is the offense and defensive line and the quarterback play. He said that was a little bit of a difference. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. I give it up to the quarterback and the big dogs, like all of the linemen. Like I said, I remember in school, a couple of my linemen were like 6 foot. You might get a guy 6'1", 6'2". You know what I mean? You ain't seeing too many break 6'3". But if you go at the bigger schools, you start seeing 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". You know what I mean? 330 pounds. You might see some of that. You know what I mean? But at my school, only time we had guys like that was because they transferred in.
Got you. So, it's interesting because a couple weeks ago we had a HBCU. He's at Texas Southern. A teammate of mine. I went to the LAC, and he ended up transferring. Went to West Texas A&M, but he's now coaching at Texas Southern, and I can hear some of the similarities in the conversations. How it's kind of interesting how we connected through a player that you're training right now, but then when we were going back and forth via text, he was like, no, this player, that player. I just looked at your IG the other day and I already realized you knew Shamar. You trained Shamar Graves for a while?
Yeah, Shamar, Hardison, a lot of them Rutgers guys. I trained a lot of them. Those my guys.
Are those like the foundation of what built up ScoobZilla training?
As far as
because they were in school around the time that you were like right when you were finishing up, I guess. Now Shamar was 06, so yeah, around that time, right?
Yeah, they're younger, so they're a lot younger. I know them from when we played professionally, like in the arena league. So, like I knew a Hardison. He transferred from Rutgers and went to University of Delaware. So that's how, of course, I knew who he was. But a lot of them I knew him from playing in the arena league together, stuff like that. And then they were still trying to pursue or progress. So and that's when we all linked up. And like, I ended up moving into Jersey, and then coincidentally, Hardison, he lived up the block from me. And it was like, wait, you live that close? And then same thing with Shamar. So we all lived in the same area. So it was like, I might as well get him right.
Word. So you started the basis of your business here, but now you're down in Atlanta?
Yeah. It's crazy. The one place in the world I said I'll never visit, I'll never go there, I'll never live here, none of that, and I'm here, and I ain't trying to leave.
What made you switch it up?
I was at the NFL Combine in 2017, and like these agents and managers walked up on me. It was like, yo, these guys are doing good out here. Like, who trained them? And they was like, yo, he did. And he was like, you train all these different positions? Like, yo, so who did they strength and condition? Like, who do your guys strength and condition? I was like, I do it. He's like, who do the speed? I said, I do it. You do the position work too? I was like, yeah. He said, how the hell you know that I do all this shit? I said, I went to school for all this. I've been training different players, been doing this for years. And he's like, yo, take a visit to Georgia. I said, hell no. Like, you ain't gonna hang me, catch me on a tree. I mean, that's how my mind was. It's the South. So I don't know nothing about like I said, another culture shock. I never knew it to be the way it is right now. So I'm just thinking this is nothing but trees and woods, and nah, you're not getting me. It's the South. I'm a city kid. We're not doing that.
Right.
I want to say 2018, New York and New Jersey got hit by a blizzard. And I was visiting my mother in Baltimore, and the blizzard was coming. So I couldn't get back up north. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start driving towards Virginia. I got a sister that lives in Virginia, so I'm gonna go towards hers. And I'm getting caught in the snow as I'm going. So I'll just keep driving. I'm driving. And I drove to my uncle's crib in Atlanta. So I just chilled out here, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna rock out. I get out here, it's wintertime, it's January, and I'm outside with no shirt on. It's like 35, 40 degrees, and it's like not cold at all, like a different 35.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here, and I'm like, well, let me hit the dude up, hit the agent up, like, yo, I'm out here visiting. Just let me know. He's like, yo, well, he got these guys, they get ready for their pro day. Come check them out. So I helped two dudes get right. And they 40 dropped right instantly. And I was like, yo, thanks for the time here. I appreciate it. He was like, yo, you can't leave. I said, what's up? He said, yo, remember that day you helped the dudes to 40? All the other guys that seen you, they said they need help. So I go to look in this back room. Look on this field. It's like 28 dudes here. I said, yo, they all need help with their pro days? Like, yeah. Man, I ain't left since. I've been stuck here ever since, bro. I swear, I literally I ain't leave.
Hey, that's a heck of a story right there, because you just like, ducking the snow. Like, I'm out of here. Like goodbye. Like,
yeah, I just had a daughter call back home. Wife like,
you coming home?
Yo, what you doing outside with no shirt on? Like, we ain't got no lights. It's remember the blizzard in 2018, 2018. They ain't have no lights, no nothing. The power was out, everything. And I'm outside chilling. And he's like, oh, hell no, you got to find a crib. Like, I said, this shit is lovely.
Was it that one snow? Was that snowstorm where it was like surprised and it was like they wasn't ready? Like, I think it wasn't
nobody was ready. Yeah.
And it came and it dumped mad snow, and the people was sleeping in school buses or something like that.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Now, you know what was funny about that? I got a sad story about that. I had a date with a fine shorty that day, and
You said it's sad.
Just like, yo. We kept looking outside, kept looking at the weather. I was like, I don't think this is going on. And then after that, I could never get it back. It was it. That was it. It was one of them shorties that's busy. Like, you know how you meet a female that's busy all the time? That was my one window. So I guess God was like, that ain't it for you. I don't know.
Not her, boom. Stay away. I'm going to freeze you out.
I'm going to freeze, for real. Like, froze me all the way out. She got married 2 years ago. Then, but I was joking around. I said my boy, I was like, yeah, I could have. You know how dudes always want to talk about the one they could have dated. And he was like, my boy was like, nah, nigga, you should have shoveled your way all the way to New York to see her. Like,
shovel what?
Yeah. What is your pride? Like, is there anybody of note that we might know of that anybody listening to this might know of, or if you don't want to use a name, what is a 40 time that you said, all right, this person was here and I got them to here? Like, because that's so important. People don't realize how important that is when it comes down to the combine and everything like that.
I think my biggest change in a 40 time was a player. He's a Hall of Famer collegiately. homie was running like a 4.8, 4.9. You know what I mean? He must have been sitting down on the couch, not doing nothing.
What
You know
position
what I
did
mean?
he play? Before you broke it down, I gotta know what position.
Running back.
Okay.
Running back. Yeah. And amazingly great. He probably to me, like, well, he is listed as one of the greatest running backs of all time in college football. But
Okay.
He on that list. The accolades is that he's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel bad for him because everybody gonna know out here gonna know. But yeah, he was thinking it up. He dropped to like a 4.8, 4.9. And I got him to a high 4.3.
Wow.
When he got his workout to like, you know, and I told him, you know, I just kept telling him, yo, you slow as hell, bro. like I felt bad. I thought people was lying. Like I had to hit the Google, check the Wikipedia. Like, bro, there's no way.
That dude, and you running that time.
Yeah. Like, yo, you know what I mean? I done sat on the couch a couple times myself, but boy, what's going on with you? But yeah, he's just never been taught anything. Like he's one of those athletes, and this is what I see happen to kids and guys all the time, like why they fall off. Like they get used for their great athleticism. You know what I mean? Coaches and teams, they love you while you could help them be great and win games, but like he's one of those, the simple reason I tell people all the time, like you understand, like there's a reason why you get paid a lot of money to teach dudes how to run the 40, because most of them don't know how to run, period. You know what I mean? And he's one of those dudes, he just didn't know how to run. So he never could really test well. And when I got him right, he got to like a high 4.38, 4.39 is what we timed him at. I think when he tested out for a team, he was at a 4.4 low, like 4.42, 4.43. So that was probably the hardest because my boy he wasn't the same guy on them tapes. He wasn't the same dude.
What I would like to ask is, without giving out too much of your secret sauce, what was some of the process you got him to take him for that 4.8 to a mid 4.4, 4.3 range?
So I'm a big track and field dude as well. So I put him on the track a lot and on hills. Like I live on hills, so I'm a firm believer. You know, I'm one of those dudes. I studied a lot of the greats. I'm not a closed-minded individual. Okay. So I don't believe in like just being stuck like, hey, this is my philosophy and I'm sticking to it. You know what I mean? So I try to open up my mind to know that every athlete I get is not the same, you know, and I can see for him, he wasn't strong in the weight room. His drive phase was trash. Like he's fast athletically, but he was, you know what I mean? He didn't have the oomph to get out, wasn't explosive to get out. So we lived on a lot of hills, like a lot of hills. Like I ran him to death.
To death?
Yeah, like bad.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, my sophomore year going in there, and I decided to stay for the summer. I didn't really have no choice. I failed one class, so you know how that go. You better get on top of that, or you out of there. And we had to do the team. We had to do the team conditioning, and I used to be up in the hills, in the middle of a field with no trees, no shade, summertime, running hills. Like, how you do this on a regular? Like, it was something. It's definitely something that you know, it's AI acting up while my phone, trying to listen to the conversation, trying to give out leaked parts of the podcast without me editing it or anything like that. But anyways, yeah. So I remember what that life is like. So I can imagine, you know, somebody who's investing their money and putting their faith in you, how hard that workout was. You know, the wonderful thing about this podcast is that we have a sponsor, Clean Everything LLC. And with that, we have a producer segment question by the Ghost Man. We started to show his face a little bit, but we got to make sure all his warrants are cleared. So with that being said, producer Baith is going to ask his producer segment question or two if he has so. So producer, you got it. You ready? You got that fired up?
I'm definitely ready. Definitely enjoying the conversation as somebody who is not inherently a sport person. I always like the behind the scenes version of what drives the in front of the scenes, on the scenes, you know, personalities, so forth and so on. So this is pretty dope. What came to mind, you seem to have a very Rain Man-esque style. It's like you reading it the information you're getting, you're reading it from a different way, and I really, really have enjoyed that so much. So, my question:
Appreciate it.
what is the biggest lesson you've learned from your trainees?
The biggest lesson I probably learned from all this, like, I would say, like, stick to like your process. Like, you know what I mean? Like that you can grow within your business. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't say I'm the most knowledgeable person. Um, but I would say like just stick to doing things the way you do it. Like a lot of times you get requests from agents and and players or certain things like to, you know, things they want to do. And for me, I don't got a bad reputation. I don't do bad business. I don't do people wrong. You know what I mean? And I remember early on, I tried to, you know, compromise who I was as an individual and the way I do things to make other people feel comfortable. Like, especially since moving here, I be having to try to dial down or dial back because of dealing with agents and people. And, you know, we from up top, so I speak aggressive at times, so it may make a person, you know, uncomfortable. But like even this time around, like, you know, I felt as though I learned that if I just stay true to, you know, doing and operating the business how I do, sticking to my guns on how I present my routines, you know what I mean? It's unorthodox. It's something that I use on myself. Like I put myself through my own routines. And I know works. You know what I mean? So I would say, yeah, just, you know, sticking to who I was when it came down to this, because at the end of the day, I always got results. I ain't never had nobody not get no results. I ain't never not show up. I ain't never had nobody stink it up. You know what I mean? And for me, is I think what gave me the reputation I got. You know what I mean? Like, you know, other trainers, they're popular where they are in their state. Like for me, like I done produce pro athletes, collegiate athletes, 5-star athletes in every state that I've ever lived in, any place I've ever trained. You know what I mean? I've never had a bad rap when it came to this. And I think it's just because I stick to, you know, doing things the way I want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, because the times that I had tried to alter to make somebody feel comfortable, it's like I start getting away. And then now you want to question, like, oh, so why isn't this working out? It's like, it's not working out because you complaining and I'm trying to comply with you and meet you halfway. Now I'm going to get hot. And I'm just saying, you know what? I should have just, you know, stick to doing things I was, the way I do it. And so it kind of prolonged the process. Like, even though we still got it done, it just kind of like, you know, it kind of dragged it out. You know what I mean? Which for me, now it bring your stress level up. Because like I said, to me, I ain't really doing it for the money. You know what I mean? I do it because I leave a reputation. Like, as you see, ain't a play that I can ever say anything bad about it. You know what I mean? It's just never going to happen. I leave that reputation the same way it was as far as me playing. Like, no, I'm going to do right. When I put a product on the field, when I put a player on the field, he's playing for me. So I treat it like it's myself. You know what I mean?
That's a bar.
That's a whole bar.
That's a whole bar.
You said in so many little words when you said when they ask why it's not working out, and you like, because I'm trying to be compliant, and immediately I'm like, well, compliance is complacency. If
Right.
you're not constantly trying to sharpen the iron of not just yourself but the people that's around you, not in a takeover spirit kind of way, not in a malicious way, not in a cause you know everything and they don't know nothing. It's like, nah, I see something in you that you don't see, and if you rocking with me, I can help you get that. Whoever it is.
Right.
And that's something that's commendable, especially in that space, dealing with people that you may not have the mental capacity to deal with at times. So yeah, I rock with you for real, for real. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's literally that part you just said. It's the mental part, and for me, I had to realize that like even though this dude is like he's paying me to do it, so I gotta, your service is everything, but it's like, yo, bro, this ain't Best Buy, so you know what, you're not, nah, he's my player now. You feel me? So it's over. You feel me? It's just not. Yeah, I had to just stick to doing things like, and like even now, like I said, I'm going through it still, even again. I tried to be compliant to it. I just had to be like, yo, bro, sit your ass behind the desk, go talk to the scouts, go do whatever, go do all that. This is my nephew now. Like, this is my player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This ain't Best Buy.
Yeah, bro.
This ain't Best Buy.
Yeah, my service is not. Yeah, it
this
ain't
ain't McDonald's.
Needs,
you can't have it your way.
Exactly that. You're not. Yeah. Don't. Hey, can I speak to the manager? I'm the manager. Nah.
Facts.
I'm not breaking, bro. So yeah, and then that's like you said. I just see certain things because I'm not a closed-minded person. I see certain things. I look for the positive in each player, and then I try to attack the weaknesses so I can elevate the player and fix what's wrong with them. You know what I mean?
That's really dope.
So yeah.
You gave me a lot. You gave a lot right there. That was a lot. Like there's like 10 nuggets within that. We like to call them nuggets. Within that structure of everything that you just broke down. What you said reminded me of a good buddy of mine. She's a trainer up here. She's from Jersey. I think she moved to North Carolina, but she says, she has a nice following of women and all this other stuff. But she says she tells people all the time, I might not be the trainer for you. If my style doesn't fit you, then that ain't it. Her name is Body by Cool. Just a quick shout out because she was one of my early interviews before we got the video in the studio and all that other stuff. But that's one nugget that she said. That's one nugget that I always take with me. Obviously, I'm a trainer as well, and I do get that. I when you said what you said hits home, and in that trying to adapt, but then you still got to be with who you are. And then with that, if when you're trying to adapt and be something that you're not, it doesn't allow you, because as a trainer, you have to take control of the situation. You have to take control, especially what you said about attacking weaknesses. And if you're not in control because you're trying to conform to something else that you're not, it makes you look weak in the sense of somebody who's humbling themselves to you to make them better. And so you can't have that imbalance. And so that's something that I'm learning on my own. But with that, with that, how do you find the balance of nonconformity, but still trying to not adapt but learn new information? You know what I mean? Because training from when you started still changed from what it is now. And then you have to weed out certain things, but then there are some things that do add to you. So how do you find that balance in that?
So for me, like I played so many sports growing up, and I went to college for 2. So a lot of things.
What was the second one before you go on? What was the second sport?
Yeah, I played football and ran track.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I played football and ran track in college. Played football, basketball, baseball, track in high school, and box.
Okay. Oh, we got it all right there. Okay.
It's either that or you already know.
Right.
You're gonna be outside a little and to other activities.
Right.
So yeah.
But you were saying that you played so many sports and that helps you.
It helps me look at, so when I'm learning something new, it's like I'm trying to look at like the movement. So I'm also like we talking certification wise, because of a trainer, like I have I'm certified in biomechanics and engineering and human movement. So I'm big, and that's because like I was temporarily paralyzed, so I had to learn, like you're saying, I had to learn new things that was like foreign to me, just to teach myself how to learn how to walk, or having those goals and aspirations, like, yo, I'm gonna get up one day. And it's like, nah, you ain't never getting out of this wheelchair. You can't feel your leg, bro. So I was studying things that just to learn, like, why would this happen, or what did I do wrong? How did I step wrong? You know what I mean? So for me, it's just, I would say, yeah.
Learning how to adapt became a part of you, because I mean, I didn't know that you were
Yeah.
temporarily paralyzed, and if you don't mind sharing how that happened, because that's different. Just
So I was playing arena ball. And then I got called. They had the USFL now, so how they got the XFL, all that stuff now. Yep. They had what was the UFL back then.
Exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
So was trying to get on. I want to say it was Arizona or Vegas, one or two. I was an assistant athletic director before I became a college football coach. So I was assistant athletic director of football operations. The head AD of that department took a job in the UFL. So when I was trying to get on as a free agent, he had seen my name come across, and he was like, "Oh, you know this guy." So they was like, "Don't come to the workout. We're going to invite you to camp." So once that boomed, the CFL was like, "Hey, you want to come in and work out?" So I ran 4.3. And it was like, "Yo, we'll offer you a contract. Come to camp." So I'm like, I got 2 joints stacked up. So we had a bye week, and I came home, raced some dudes on the track. And like I said, I never knew. I always ran 4.3s, but I never knew I got this fast. And the coaches was out there, and they was like, "Oh, you look like you got faster." Time me in the 40, I ran 4.2. So I ran 4.2. It go across on Twitter, and I ain't even had Twitter back then. So my dudes is posting on Twitter, on Facebook, and then I get a phone call like, "Yo, they said you ran 4.2." And I was like, "Yeah." So one of the trainers at the time with the Ravens, Ron Carter, like, "Yeah, Harbaugh and them want to know, can you run the 40? Can you come to Baltimore?" And I was like, "All right." So I came out there. I ain't run it. I ran 4.30, 4.3s, kept running it back to back. And he was like, "Oh, you ain't run 4.2. You got to run pretty fast, but they want to rock with you." So I'm hyped, like, talk to my agent, do all that type of stuff. So I'm trying to get ready. And we doing one-on-ones and all this type of stuff. I'm working out with the arena dudes, like, yo, trying to get me right. They just hype, like, yo, my boy made it. He about to do his thing. I backpedal, flip again, and my cleat got stuck in the turf. And I turned all the way around, and my leg was still facing this way. And so I'm reaching out, like how I'm facing you right now. I'm like, "Yo, boom, yo, I can't move my leg." And you turn your head like, "Yo, what the hell is this? Like, why your leg on it?" And I reach out and I step, and the whole leg bent in. So I damaged my left nerve and the left side of my body. I had no feeling up to like my second or third rib on the left side. Like, I was fine at first. Like, yeah, it was hurting, damaged, but once I got my surgery, I couldn't feel nothing. Wow. And then they was about to amputate my leg because they said there was too many blood clots. So, I was fried. I sat in the hospital in ICU. They don't know if they're gonna cut my leg off. They said ain't nothing to do about the blood clots, so they gotta stop it before it get. I ain't started the catheter in me. My mother took naproxen pills out her purse, shoved them all in my mouth, and they said the blood clots are starting to disappear. We're gonna hold off, and that's the only why I didn't cut my leg off. So basically, this woman had pills, blood thinners in her purse that could help me, but y'all ain't got nothing in this hospital. But you know why that is. It's insurance stuff. So by the time I got the surgery and all that, I guess, with my heart, all that type of stuff from the long surgery, I ended up in ICU. And I'm in ICU, like little Asian dudes just come in every day, stand by my bed. You get an ACL surgery, people that got tore their knee and stuff.
Right.
You go in, they come out, you could walk the next day. I mean, some dudes could walk out, or, you on crutches, at least you straight. I'm in here like another day, and they got me on what was called like morphine, but they also got this thing called the drip. They usually give it to people in the military, like when you get hit with a grenade or something.
Wow.
And you lose a limb. So that's what I'm on. I press that joint, I'm knocked out. It's another day. I wake up, it's another day. That's how, you know what I mean? It put me out. So after a while, I'm like, lady coming in, mopping the floor. I'm like, yo, bro, I ain't even walking around. Like, stop mopping my floor. I'm losing it. The drugs got me angry. I'm very aggressive. And then one day my mom asked her, like, yo, why can't he leave? And he was like, well, he can't leave because he ain't get up and leave. And she like, what you trying to say? He's like, yo, come here. So I'm like, yo, every day y'all come in and stand by my bed. Like, what's going on? And they was like, every day we come in here and take a needle and poke your feet. And he's like a little blood marks on my feet. And they was like, he not moving. He not budging. So I couldn't feel nothing there. So after a while, and now I hate everybody in the world. Like, sorry, Boom, I don't, we just made love is love, King, but yeah. I hated you. Hate the producer. I hate everybody, bro. So I'm depressed mentally.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, that's important. It's a part of the story.
But my sister and my girl came to visit me. I hated her too. You know what I mean? Because I'm in here suffering by myself. Don't know. Every day I'm talking about, I'm in ICU. So I'm hearing dudes dying. And I only know about ICU from niggas getting shot, stuff like that. Like, why am I up here?
Right.
I guess the damage that was done during the surgery, whatever, that's why they got me up here. So eventually we faked, like, they said, when you can stand up and get up out of here, then that's when you can leave. So we grabbed a chair, they helped me stand up, and they was like, all right, start walking, like proving. I was like, man, I started blacking, raising hell, just because I wanted to go. Because I really didn't stand up on my own. They stood me up. Mm. So they was like, oh, we'll get papers. So they went and grabbed the wheelchair. I said, man, I'm checking myself out. And I left. We rolled out. And once we got out the building, I got in the car. My mother grabbed a hotel literally up the block. Like, it's mentally we off. Like, yo, this thing I can't walk. Mm-hmm. I've been fast as hell my whole life. Like crackhead fast. Like a lot of niggas is fast, yeah. But I'm like I've been elitely like fast my entire life. And now they can't even run. Like I can't even walk. So we went to the hotel right up the block, rolled my little wheelchair in there like Drake and Degrassi. I couldn't use the bathroom. I couldn't do nothing. I needed help. I need somebody to take care of me, and that's when it hit me. Like, I just started crying. And I closed myself off from the rest of the world for a minute. I was mentally messed up. So I pretty much stayed in the wheelchair, like they said, doing the little stupid rehab stuff. And then coincidentally, my grandmother was dying at around the same time. Prostate cancer, church woman, them old school grandmas.
Right.
And she like, baby, how you doing? I'm like, yo, grandma, you got like 2 weeks left. What you worry about with me for? She like, oh, I know where I'm going. You the one that's stuck here. I said, what you mean? Dang. He said, I'm going up there to see my grandfather, my husband. And I was like, well, grandma, they said I ain't never gonna walk again. And she's like, who said that? I said, the doctor. She said, well, you ask God. God can make a lie to any doctor. I said, this woman crazy. Mm. Now, God, I thought God ain't like liars. Now you really contradicting yourself, grandma. So, towards the end, like when she gone, we getting ready for the funeral. I asked my mother, I said, why would she say that? Like, it started bothering me. Like, what she mean by God to make a lie out of a doctor? She was like, well, you got to go ask him. So now it's like, bro, I done did praying and all that. I start blacking, just cursing him out, yelling at him, sitting in a dark room.
Been there.
And I'm going at him. And like I said, I lost a lot of friends because people start saying, yo, he going crazy, you mentally crazy. But I just became real spiritual because this nigga answered. And I'm tweaking and I'm like, yo, I know I'm not hearing stuff. I'm visioning. Like it's got to be the drug or something going on. Right. And really, it's just like that's what just pretty much changed me in my life. Like I showed up at her funeral. I didn't come in a wheelchair. I used crutches to go to her casket. And I was like, I'm gonna get up. And ever since I used to drive from New York to Baltimore, Delaware to Baltimore, just to go train. Like I'm talking about drive 5 hours to a woman that told me, like, I'll help you get up. I want you, but one thing you gotta understand is pain is mental. Like, you can't get up because mentally they told you can't get up, and the drugs is making you believe you can't get up. And this woman trained me like the type of person I was, to the point where my whole body was in so much pain that I wasn't even thinking about the pain that I really had in my left leg. So I used to always tell people, yo, shoot me 8 times, just don't kill me before I feel what I feel on my leg. But the rest of my body would be in so much pain that I ain't thinking about the actual real injury I got that's painful. I'm talking about I had crutches show up like, all right, so what you gonna do? She like, all right, run a mile, do your warm up. And we on a track. And I'm like, nigga, I can't run. I can't even walk. And she was like, during the Olympics, during trials, she used to always, before like the Olympic trials, she would always have like a nagging injury. And mentally she thought about it and made the injury worse. So she was like, our mind is so powerful. Like, whatever thought process you got, till you mentally clear your mind, that's what's gonna bother you. Like, the mind is that powerful, you can do whatever you want. You can accomplish whatever you want to. From then on, I'm good.
That's powerful, bro.
So after a while, I got up. I don't know what just happened to my camera.
No, you good. We still can see you. Focus. Good lighting too. That's a powerful message, bro. Because that's and so much more. I'm trying to, because we got to do so much. Move a little bit forward, and then we gonna have to do a part 2 or another time and come back and talk about that, because that by itself is just a bar, a nugget, a life changer. Somebody could hear that and be like, "Yo, you went from."
That's why I'm successful to this day. I ain't gonna front. I made an agreement with God, bro. Not to be that street kid. Don't do wrong by people. Not deliver his message. Teach these players what I ain't never got in this game. And like I said, nobody ever taught me how to play football. It wasn't even my main sport. Why I play this joint, why I know all this information, why I can't lose. Like, why you can't develop a player better than me? Nah, yeah. You know what? Like you asked me earlier, I'm that nigga. Yeah, I'm that nigga. Because I make my own players. There's a difference.
There we go.
I make my own players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people get players that's already, this dude already made it. Like, this is somebody else's work, and now you dealing with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You ain't developed your own talent. Like, I could take a bum and this nigga's about to go to school for free, and I'm gonna guarantee that.
So when
I got players that ain't never get burned in high school, bro, and they got offers. They got stars right now just because the way I built them out. So yeah, it ain't no difference. But that's God work. I mean, it's my, you know what I mean? He hold me down.
Bro. You don't just train NFL guys. You just said a lot right there. Explain all the levels that you train, just for anybody out here who's looking for your services. Because I see you doing the 7-on-7 with the kids. And,
yeah, I love kids, man. Yeah. Kids are hilarious, bro. Yeah. They keep me young.
Yeah. So you got high school players, and then you also have college and NFL guys. So you train at every level, basically. Yeah,
definitely. So what people don't realize is, like, even when I moved out here, they was like, oh, he's just this high price or high ticket type trainer. He's so good. They need to work with their kid. And he's like, oh, you only train NFL. I'm like, bro, I just moved out here. I don't even know where the high schools is. So you only see me with NFL college players because that's all that know me. So, but people didn't realize, like, a lot of my NFL players that I had over the years, like, those are my kids. Like, they were my high school kids. I taught this kid. I raised this kid. Or I might have been dealing with this kid since he was in elementary school in New York. You know what I mean? He's just a grown man now.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, high school players that I was a high school coach when I quit coaching college ball. That player is in the pros now. But I've been training him since he was a kid. He just followed me to Georgia. You know what I mean?
Word. Yeah, I mean, your story, like I said, it's amazing. Like, I'm like, yo, my man went from almost being in the NFL. Life happened, you know what I mean, to now giving everybody else legs, essentially. You lost your legs, and now you out here giving everybody else legs and speed and life to go with it. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? 5 years. Let's curve it. 5 years from now, with your skills and assets that you can bring to this world.
It's kind of tricky. Honestly, because it's thrown out there and been asked a lot. Like I said, I would never go back into college coaching or like try to jump back into pro coaching. But the way the value is, I think in 5 years they're gonna value us trainers and developers a lot more to keep their investments, their players available. Like, yeah, you got strength and conditioning coaches, but a lot of them, that nigga can't lift no weights. He ain't never played the game. Like, a lot of them don't know. You know what I mean? There's some nice dudes out there that don't know, and there's a lot of guys that just, like, they follow whatever they are certified in. Like, this is their certification, and that's what they believe. Right. You know what I mean? I think in 5 years, I'm going to end up, because they asked me right now, and if, you know, we might work on this, but I might jump into like a player development role, you know what I mean? So I can keep producing and helping the college players. Like, now they're at this level, guiding them and leading them, you know what I mean? And that's the only reason I jumped out, is because it was too much time consuming, and I felt like I could touch more people by doing my own thing versus being handicapped to a university or something. But the way I am now, like having the youth, like now I got a lot of kids that look up to me. Right. I think if I could get back in that relationship with certain universities, like, and develop their players, I also be that funnel system, that farm system to help the guys that come out of my gym, or, you know what I mean, that train in my area, get a look from this school. Like, this way you can never say you ain't get this look. No one could ever say they never got this opportunity, because I'm gonna be able to funnel this opportunity for you. You know what I mean? So I think in 5 years, I'm probably jump back in somewhat in the ranks of the college level. No, I ain't gonna go back into coaching no games, so that's too stressful. Got you. Them niggas don't got no lives.
Yeah, you got to know your lane. We talked about this last week on the Meet the Producer segment. Really just knowing your lane and learning how to go in your lane and then build out from there. So that's definitely important. And I think that's dope that, you know, instead of just training guys and leaving them off to figure it out for themselves, people know, okay, they come to you as the source, and you're going to display dogs, as they say. You know, there are people who just go get it. Do you right now? Because one thing I did, what I loved is, like, I saw you had jokers out there, NFL jokers out there running on the hard pavement, and then now, like in Georgia, like, do you have a facility? Do you have something, a dope place for people to train? How do you do it? I know you love the hills, so it's like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, so I opened up my own building. I got my own gym out here now, and like I said, I use like, at a front room. I pretty much try to stay away from machines, just because, to me, that's another reason why there's so many more injuries. Man-made machine to do things easier, because we lazy in society. So I make everything free weight, so they keep their natural movements. So I don't have no injured player. God forbid, keep it rocking and rolling. But I never had no injured players. You know what I mean? I never had to deal with that type of situation of a guy I'm developing, producing. That stays with me. I like to keep it that way. But yeah, I got my own building. I got access to certain parks. And I'm working on a situation right now. Well, next week, because it's spring break out here, I'm meeting with some schools that are about to try to, you know, give me the keys to their program. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, it's pretty much, I've been developing all the different players and from different schools, to where now it's just like certain schools are just like, yo, whatever it takes to get you to deal with our guys specifically. So I'll start having access to their fields, because out here it's a little different. You know what I mean? You see a football field, you got to get permission, the gates locked, this and that, you know. Yeah. Pay to get in, yeah. So now the schools know, like, oh, his biggest issue is getting access to certain fields. You know what I mean?
So a great part of this podcast, even though I haven't done it in a while, but we're about to get back to doing it, is that anytime I interview somebody, I got to work out with them too, and it doesn't matter what their level of fitness. If they're more advanced than me, then I kind of do their workout. If they're not as advanced as me, then I kind of take them through the workout. So the great thing about this podcast is that at some point I'm gonna be in Georgia and I'm gonna have to come down there and do a ScoobZilla workout. I will say I'm a little overweight right now, not in a bad way, not in a bad way, but I did step on the scale the other day and I was a little surprised. Obviously, muscle weighs more than fat, and I've been working out, and I was like, but dang, I weigh that much? I was like, sheesh, and I don't look it at all, but you talking about all this running, and I'm like, all right, bro, like you gonna have to curve it a little bit for somebody that's a little bit more hefty,
Look, a little more hefty. I got you.
A little bit more hefty, but I'm gonna do it though. But that's something I really look forward to, and I just wanna. We're gonna close. We're gonna put a pin in this conversation, and we're gonna come back to this and talk about some more. I also want to give a shout out to one of your current clients, DJ Coleman, because he was the one who shouted you out. He was like, "Yo, I've been training with ScoobZilla for a minute, and then that's when I started to like look into you, like, oh, all right, that's what it is. And then he did pretty good at his pro day, from what I hear, and all that good stuff. And I think probably next week we'll drop his episode and go from there. But any shout outs, anybody, tell people where they can find you on Instagram, facility location, anything that's important to you. This your time to kind of just shout that stuff out.
You can find me at ScoobZilla 730 pretty much on every social media platform. I'm a little slow with it because I'm an old dude. I look young, but I don't be knowing how to use all these little apps and stuff. But yeah, you could get a hold of me there. And I want to shout out to all the little homies that are trying to achieve something, you know what I mean? That's trying to go after a dream, anything that you think you doubt and you couldn't do, couldn't make it. Any trainers that feel as though it's like, you settling in this business. Like literally, I used to be training, borrowing people apartment key, you know what I mean? Like, hey, just so I could buzz in and train this client because it's raining outside, you know what I mean? To the point where I'm all the way out here in Georgia and the flip of the switch just because one dude, my man Chad, which is also one of the agents, managers of DJ, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's how he pretty much connected. So that's how I've been training him since young. That's how. So pretty much a dude named Chad. I ain't gonna hold you. If it wasn't for Chad, a Georgia bred dude, with using that Southern hospitality to convince me to convince him to come all the way out here and never leave, bro. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be like this right now. Like I'd have probably got there to this point, but the road would have been a lot longer. Like I ain't even been living here about 4 or 5 years, bro. And like I've been on a search for opening like 2 extra buildings, new locations. You know what I mean? The amount of players that I've worked with just because I came out here. You know what I mean? The caliber of players. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been training these type of dudes for years, but a lot of that is because I've been put in a position to, step outside my box and come see what Georgia was really hitting for. And it's probably been the dopest experience. So, and shout out to my dog Boom, B. You know what I mean? It's always a blessing when I get a chance to feel that good old spiritual movement to, give advice and guide others. So I appreciate you for the platform. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I appreciate you having just being able to be available because I know you busy. Like, I remember we were texting back and forth on Sunday, and he was like, da-da-da, and I was like, nah, bro, don't worry about it. I know you busy. This is your you're a year-round trainer, but this is your busy season. Let's not.
It's the tough period. That's why it's funny.
Go ahead.
When you said the funny thing is when you saying I'm bad on being late. Nigga, I was like, yo, cool, because I'm in the car right now. Mm-hmm. I'm racing from the gym. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, can y'all get out the building, bro? I got somewhere to be today. You know what I mean? So.
Well, a producer Baif is probably happy to hear that, so he don't feel as guilty when he leaving here.
Yeah, that's why he's like, "Yo, it's my bad." Nah, bro. You was on nigga time, but it's all good.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Man, B, you got anything to say before we dip
Nah,
up?
yo, this was super dope, man. I got so many jewels, man. The influence, the introduction, the man down, and he got up. Just being a teacher, on some Snoop Dogg. I want to thank me. I really appreciate the ebbs and flows of the conversation. It was not what I expected at all on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that they don't happen, but you just never know what you're gonna get, from the conversation. So this was fulfilling in quite a few different ways. I got some shit to take back with me. Appreciate you.
And B got some stuff to take back with him. That's ScoobZilla. ScoobZilla, the king of trainers, you know what I mean? And the monster verse, because that's all he do is he train monsters, you know what I mean? And
that's a fact.
This episode of the House of Boom podcast, one more time, is brought to you by Clean Everything LLC. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. This is the House of Boom, and we are out. Peace.